What happens at your business when a call comes in at 7 o'clock at night after you've closed for the day? Or when your sales line is already tied up and another phone call is coming in? Do you have an after hours service? Are these leads going to voicemail? What is happening? Because we want to make sure those potential customers are being taken care of. And I'm so glad Emily Curtis agreed to sit down with me today. She is the internal operations director at Miller Pest Solutions, and her job is to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks. So they had an after hours service, but not all calls were being answered correctly, and it was causing issues with their sales team. So they started to investigate what would it look like if we brought in a voice AI agent to help answer calls. And I'm so glad Emily agreed to share their experience with that 24/7 voice AI receptionist. So before we get started, I'm Kim Rath. I'm a business automation strategist and the founder of Allura Connections and Tech Simple Solutions. My 20 plus years in corporate IT showed me that the best technology solutions feel like magic: simple, seamless, and reliable. So, Emily, I'm so glad to have you here and that you're sharing your experience with having a 24/7 receptionist. Could you tell us a little bit about what made you look at using a voice AI receptionist at Miller Pest Solutions?
Absolutely. So when I started with this company, we were originally using an in-person service for after-hour calls. So an external service was what we were using, and the struggle we were having with them was inconsistency. They serviced quite a few customers. So even though we had humans and we were giving them all the information they needed because they were serving so many, we were consistently seeing issues with things being told, incorrect information being given, things like that. So we made the switch. We started looking at an AI bot. We tried another company tried them for about 3 months in total by the time we switched away from them. And we, again, even though we used a bot there, we were seeing quite a few inconsistencies with that specific bot just because of the company we were using. Not getting into the weeds, not getting things fully fixed. So that's what made us look for other options. And we saw that we had an option within our own CRM, and that's what led us to you.
Yeah, because I know when we were talking about it, you guys had already researched using a voice AI agent. And I was like, hey, did you know that we could do it inside of here
Yeah.
where your sales pipeline already was and you could get the leads in there? And you're like, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then we started to research what would that look like to bring the agent into here. And then we went through a whole like demo process for you guys to check it out. What was one of the big positives about moving into your CRM system?
I think one of the biggest things that I appreciated is the ability to control it. The issue I was having with the past bot was constantly giving feedback, hearing that it was fixed, but having no transparency to see that it was fixed, and then seeing the same issues pop up again and again. So having the ability to control it, be able to get into the prompt, be able to see exactly what it's saying, see if an issue's been fixed or not, that transparency was huge, as well as the fact there were multiple layers to the benefits, but also being able to have our leads come straight in. If we use the bot within our own CRM, the workflow is much easier to set up, and our salespeople are already in there looking at leads. So having all those leads come straight through is a win-win.
Yeah. And we were able to set up the workflows in order for a first email to go out too after that conversation ended. So we could continue that conversation because it was all right in there. And I think another big benefit with being in control of it yourself is the way that you can test it inside of
Yeah.
right there, right then and there, that they have a way for you to call in and test it and check to see if the changes to your prompt did make that difference. So it does give you that, okay, what I put in there worked
Yeah.
before you're like, let's see what happens the next time somebody calls.
Yeah, just peace of mind, I would say. It's given a lot of peace of mind to have it right there in our CRM.
Yeah. And I love that. So When you were talking about the human service, like having that human service, were you just using them for after hours or were they also available during the day too to handle if your sales staff was busy?
Yep, they were available for both. So
Mhm.
overflow during the day and then of course after hours.
Okay. So being able to save that money there, do you have an estimate or can you share an estimate of like how much money you're able to share?
No,
Doesn't
it
have to
was
be
a
like
good
exact.
amount. I would have to look back at the numbers, but I believe it was about half or more. I think that going from the original company having human after hours and
Mhm.
overflow down to the original or the first bot that we tried, I think we cut our cost in half by using the bot within our own CRM. I mean, savings has been it's not completely free, but it is in our CRM. So we've almost cut the extra cost completely. And the benefit with the bot is that it can take as many calls as needed at the same time. So there's no cap on that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I've seen with other clients too, is that once they've implemented the system, like their cost for phone, for it handling their phone is really small.
Yeah.
And yeah, and you would expect it to be way bigger. I'm talking like I have one client using it. It's less than $50 a month for him. And he has
Yeah.
calls constantly coming in.
Huge benefit.
Yeah, huge benefit that way. So, can you walk us through a little bit about what happens when the voice AI agent or the voice receptionist, when it kicks in and answers a call? Can you walk us through the flow of what you have it doing?
Yeah, I'll give you a high level flow.
Mhm.
Essentially, when someone calls in, there's two different directions the bot goes with them. One is one of the first questions they ask is, are you an existing customer with us or is this your first time? If they say they're an existing customer, then there's two routes that they can go. Do you have a billing question or do you have a schedule change? If it's a schedule change, they'll do it right there on the phone. We've given it specific parameters. So it's not attached to like our scheduling CRM, but the way that we've set it up or the way that you guys have set it up, which has been very helpful, is that it gives them blocks of time that are available, 4-hour blocks, and then they can go ahead and set a time with the customer, which just reduces a lot of work for our CSRs. So that would be if it's an existing customer. If it is a billing question or anything that's not scheduling related, they'll just take a message and let them know a team member will be reaching out. So at least the customer with that overflow, they feel heard.
Mhm.
It's better than just a voicemail where they're like, when are they going to be contacting
Yeah.
me? So I like that for existing customers. For new customers, it has a specific workflow that it goes through in terms of, or prompts that it goes through in terms of quoting. So we have very specific items that it asks for. They get all of the upfront information, name, address, email, all of that. And then they're asking specifics on the size of the home, any specifics that are needed in order to make the quote. And then they'll go ahead and quote. And then they'll let the customer know here's the time blocks that are available. They will schedule it right there on the phone. And then at the end, we want it to essentially feel like the sale is complete on the phone with the
Mhm.
AI bot. But at the end, they'll just make a comment. A team member will be reaching out for payment information and to finalize the appointment time. That way they feel like it's mostly done and they've booked,
Yeah.
but then the salesperson will call and they'll actually run through the full sales process to make sure everything's completed.
Yeah. So it's more like a confirmation call at
Mhm.
that point, which
Yeah.
is nice. And
Yeah.
the other thing that you did, like when it's taking a message, we actually tied it into your Slack channel, which was where all of your customer service representatives are, anyways. So when it is taking a message, we're sending it over there and they know to take care of it. They're notified.
Yeah.
All of that is happening behind the scenes automatically so that your business flows continue
Yeah.
to go. Yeah, to go. What kind of when it comes to the customers and you've talked to them, like what have they thought about that experience? Do they know that they're going through that they're talking with an AI agent? Has anybody like said this is really nice or this is really weird? What has been the feedback?
Typically, from my experience, typically the only feedback that we really get is negative feedback, but that is a very small percentage of the call. So it may feel like it's negative, but when you look at the total number, the data is showing most everyone's very happy or they have positive sentiment. Other thing that this specific CRM measures is the sentiment. So we can see, and I can't remember the exact number, but I know it's over 90% are happy with the bot's interaction, which is huge. That's a pretty good number.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's in general with anything. Like when you go and you look at a restaurant reviews, it's the people that are complaining, they're the ones that are out there
Yeah.
posting. A lot of times we don't go out there and post our positive experience. It just is. And so those negative comments and negative reviews that just get heard, they're just louder because they're
Yeah.
not positive coming in. But being able to see that on the high level dashboard is huge too, because you do know that people
Mhm.
are happy. And what is your sales staff said about having it do some of it for them?
Yeah. There are always complaints because that's just what happens. Any new software that you put in or integrate, there's always complaints. So I know though the complaints compared to our after hours service when we were using a human service
Yeah.
have drastically decreased because we were having consistent, we call them customer hero opportunities, consistent issues with things being told incorrectly, scheduled incorrectly. And then we went straight to that prior bot and tons of complaints consistently. So I know, should I even say this number? I know it's at least less than 50% of even the last bot that we used and drastically less than the human service. So even if the team has their complaints, it would be the same as the negative sentiment from customers. The amount of issues, because we have an issues channel for the bot, because they want to know as soon as there's an issue that arises. I'm getting a handful a week, and they're little things typically. They're rarely a big thing, and they can be solved pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas with all of our last services, it was a trial to get things solved, and I was getting them multiple daily. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
tells you how much it decreased. And really, even if they don't say they're happy, they're a lot happier.
Yeah.
I'm a lot happier because I have less issues to solve.
And that's good. I think we always find things, like when you're, especially if you think back, whenever you're implementing a project, you have this need, you have this list of this is what we have to have. And then all the have to haves get resolved. So then you're like, all right, what are the nice to haves? Get rid of some of those. But then there's always additional nice to haves.
Yeah, just little things that pop up. Hard to make people happy all the time. Generally positive compared to what it was.
Good. I'm glad to hear that because, the little things, we can handle the little things. And so it's really nice hearing how everything is working together and coming together and how much it's changing your job, like taking
Hmm.
some of those issues off of your plate so you can focus on other things. And same with
Yeah.
the sales staff and your customer service representatives. So I think it's amazing. I am so glad that you tried it out. I'm so happy that you came on here with me and shared some of what you've been experiencing. I'm super glad that it's all positive. So thank you
Absolutely.
very much.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Emily, so much for being here and sharing all of this information. For everyone watching, if you know you are missing calls after hours, or you have an after hours service, but they aren't handling those calls as well as what you want them to, this is worth exploring for your business. Click the links that come with this video, get on my email list, get on a demo call with us. We would love to answer your questions and show you how a voice AI 24/7 receptionist could work for you in your business and help you get more customers and make more money. Remember, business growth doesn't mean more complexity or longer hours. Strategic automations that work for you will take your business to the next level.